Pandora did not release suffering because she was born cruel. The gods created her as a punishment. They gave her beauty, curiosity, and deception. Then they placed a sealed jar in her path. When it opened, disease, grief, and death entered the human world. For thousands of years, Pandora carried the blame. But the plan began long before she took her first breath. It began with a stolen flame. And the real architect of the disaster was Zeus. This is not simply a story about a woman who made one terrible mistake. It is a story about power creating a victim, then blaming that victim for the punishment it designed. Before Pandora existed, the Titan Prometheus became the protector of humanity. He saw that mortals were weak. They had no claws, no thick fur, and no natural weapons. They lived beneath the gods in a cold and dangerous world. Prometheus wanted to give them a chance. His first conflict with Zeus began during a sacrifice. Prometheus divided an ox into two portions. One pile contained the meat and valuable organs. He hid them beneath the animal's unattractive stomach. The other pile contained bones covered in shining fat. Prometheus invited Zeus to choose. The king of the gods selected the beautiful pile. He discovered only bones beneath the fat. From that moment, humans kept the meat from sacrifices. The gods received smoke and bones. Zeus understood that Prometheus had deceived him. His anger fell upon humanity. He took fire away from mortals. Without fire, people could not cook food. They could not warm their homes. They could not shape metal or protect themselves from the night. Prometheus refused to let them suffer. He entered the realm of the gods. He stole a spark of divine fire. Some versions say he hid it inside a hollow fennel stalk. Then he carried it down to humanity. For the first time, human settlements glowed after sunset. Zeus saw the fires from Olympus. He knew exactly who had defied him. Prometheus would receive his own punishment. He would be chained to a remote mountain. An eagle would tear out his liver every day. Every night, the immortal organ would grow back. But Zeus wanted humanity to suffer as well. He decided to give mortals a gift they could not refuse. That gift was Pandora. Zeus ordered Hephaestus to shape a woman from earth and water. Hephaestus was the divine blacksmith. He could forge armor for gods and weapons for heroes. Now he was commanded to manufacture a living person. The result was not born in an ordinary way. Pandora was designed. Every Olympian added something to her creation. Athena taught her weaving and dressed her in beautiful clothing. Aphrodite gave her irresistible grace and desire. The Charites placed jewelry around her body. The Ori crowned her with spring flowers. Hermes gave her persuasive speech. He also placed cunning and deceit within her heart. The name Pandora is often understood as all-gifted. She carried gifts from every god. But those gifts were not offered for her happiness. They were tools in Zeus's revenge. Pandora appeared beautiful because the trap needed to be welcomed. She was sent to Epimetheus. He was the brother of Prometheus. His name can be understood as afterthought. He often understood danger only after it had arrived. Prometheus had warned him clearly. Never accept a gift from Zeus. Epimetheus saw Pandora and forgot the warning. He accepted her as his wife. With Pandora came a mysterious container. Modern retellings usually call it Pandora's box. But the earliest Greek account describes a large storage jar. The Greek word was pithos. Such jars could hold grain, oil, wine, or even human remains. The box appeared because of a later translation tradition. The mistake survived because a small box was easier to imagine. Yet the original jar makes the story darker. It was large enough to resemble a buried storehouse. It could have stood inside the home like a silent tomb. Pandora was told not to open it. The warning created the question that would destroy her peace. Why had the gods sent it? What could be hidden inside? Why create a mind capable of curiosity and then demand that it never ask? The ancient poem does not describe days of resistance. It moves directly toward the fatal moment. Pandora lifted the lid. Everything changed. Pain escaped first. Then sickness, age, exhaustion, hunger, jealousy, and grief followed. Invisible forces poured into the world. They spread too quickly to capture. Pandora tried to close the jar, but the suffering had already escaped. Only one thing remained inside: hope. That final detail has troubled readers for centuries. Was hope preserved for humanity? Did the jar keep it safe so people could survive? Or was hope another evil that remained imprisoned? Perhaps false hope keeps people waiting while suffering continues. The Greek story does not give a simple answer. Its uncertainty is part of its power. Humanity received pain, but humanity may also have received the ability to endure it. Pandora became the first woman in this tradition. That makes the story deeply uncomfortable to modern readers. It presents womanhood itself as part of a divine punishment. It reflects the fears and social order of the culture that preserved it. Women were connected with marriage, inheritance, childbirth, and the private household. For male poets, those forces could appear necessary and threatening at the same time. Pandora became a symbol of that anxiety. She was blamed not only for opening the jar. She was blamed for bringing a new kind of life into the world. Yet the story contains a contradiction. Pandora acts with qualities the gods deliberately gave her. Hermes placed deception within her. The gods made her attractive so Epimetheus would accept her. Zeus selected the punishment. Hephaestus formed the body. The Olympians supplied the personality. Then tradition treated Pandora as though she had created herself. If every part of the trap came from Olympus, how free was her choice? This question changes the meaning of the myth. Pandora may not be the villain. She may be the final mechanism in a weapon built by Zeus. The god wanted human suffering to enter the world. The jar was not an accident. Pandora's curiosity was not an unexpected flaw. It was the key placed beside the lock. The myth also exposes a familiar pattern. Those with power create impossible conditions. Someone with less power makes the final move. Then history remembers only that final hand. Zeus disappears behind the story. Prometheus becomes the noble rebel. Epimetheus becomes the foolish husband. Pandora becomes the name attached to every human misery. But she was also the only one who tried to close the jar. That moment is often forgotten. She could not return sickness and grief to their prison. She could only preserve what remained. Hope stayed with her. Perhaps that is the most generous reading of the story. Pandora did not merely release suffering. She prevented the world from losing everything. Later art transformed her again. Painters showed a mysterious young woman touching a decorated box. Poets turned curiosity into her defining weakness. Popular culture reduced the myth to a warning. Do not open what should remain closed. But Greek myth rarely survives because of one simple lesson. Its characters live inside conflicts without clean answers. Prometheus saves humanity and provokes a tyrant. Epimetheus ignores wisdom and accepts love. Pandora obeys the nature given to her and becomes condemned for it. Zeus protects his authority through collective punishment. The jar contains both despair and the possibility of endurance. That is why Pandora still matters. Every generation creates new technologies, new secrets, and new sealed containers. We are told that some doors should never be opened. Yet knowledge always calls from the other side. Sometimes curiosity gives humanity fire. Sometimes it releases consequences no one can control. The difference is rarely obvious before the lid is lifted. Pandora's tragedy was not that she asked a question. It was that the gods had already decided what the answer would cost. She entered the world as a punishment disguised as a gift. She inherited a choice designed to fail. And when the design succeeded, she inherited the blame as well. So the next time someone speaks of Pandora's box, remember the jar. Remember the hands that made it. Remember the ruler who filled it. Remember the woman who was never warned what it truly contained. Most of all, remember what remained after everything else escaped. Hope did not erase suffering. It did not defeat death. It simply refused to leave. And in a world shaped by the cruelty of gods, that may have been humanity's first victory.